You carry Neanderthal DNA right now, most people don't know that. They think we killed them all. Clean, simple, gone. But the real story is so much weirder than that. 40,000 years ago, you would have walked into their territory. You didn't know what they were. They didn't know what you were. Both of you had spears. Both of you had fire. Both of you had children to protect. So what actually happened? Most people say we killed them. Showed up, fought them off, took their land. That's the story everyone tells. It feels logical. We're here. They're not. Someone had to lose. Except that's not what the bones show. Neanderthals had bigger brains than us. Their bones were denser. Their muscles were stronger. They buried their dead. They made tools. Some wore feathers as decoration. This was not a weak creature. You couldn't just push a Neanderthal around and expect to walk away. So the clean war story falls apart fast. In 2010, a geneticist named Svante Pääbo published a paper in Science. He worked at the Max Planck Institute in Germany. His team sequenced the Neanderthal genome for the first time. What they found changed everything. Every person alive today outside of Africa carries between 1 and 4% Neanderthal DNA. Not some people. Every single person. Your ancestors didn't just fight Neanderthals. They had children with them. Now things get complicated. The interbreeding didn't happen everywhere at once. It happened at specific meeting points. Places where modern humans moving out of Africa first ran into Neanderthal populations. The Skul and Kafse cave sites in Israel show both species living in the same region around 100,000 years ago. Not together, but close enough that contact was guaranteed. In 2016, geneticists Kelly Harris and Rasmus Nielsen published a paper in PLOS Genetics. They found something uncomfortable. The Neanderthal DNA we kept wasn't random. The genes related to male fertility were mostly purged. That means some hybrid children had reduced fertility. We were compatible enough to have kids. Not compatible enough for those kids to always have kids themselves. Close enough to mix. Not quite the same species. So here's where the two things happened at the same time. Your ancestors were occasionally having children with Neanderthals. They were also competing with them for the same caves, the same hunting grounds, the same mammoths. Wherever modern humans arrived in Europe, Neanderthal populations shrank. Fast. At a site called Grotte du Renne in France, Neanderthal tool layers sit directly beneath early modern human layers. Almost no time between them. We arrived. They pulled back. This happened across the entire continent within 2,000 to 5,000 years. Extremely fast by prehistoric standards. Here's the edge that did it. Neanderthals used thrusting spears. You had to get right next to the animal to kill it. Modern humans had throwing spears. Then atlatls. Distance weapons. You could take down prey without risking injury every single time. Slightly better hunting means slightly more food. More food means slightly more children survive. More children means your group grows faster. Faster growth means more territory. Multiply that across thousands of years and the math becomes brutal. They weren't wiped out in one war. They were quietly outcompeted in every single resource contest, season after season. But here's the twist that most people never hear. Some Neanderthals didn't die. They joined. A 2014 paper in Nature by Benjamin Vernot and Joshua Akey analyzed which Neanderthal genes survived in modern humans. Different populations carry different pieces of the Neanderthal genome. That pattern means it wasn't one accidental encounter. It was multiple contacts over thousands of years. Some Neanderthal individuals were absorbed into human groups. Their children were raised inside our tribes. Their genes made it through. The specific genes that survived aren't random either. They cluster around immune response, skin and hair adaptation, environmental adjustment outside Africa. Neanderthals had already spent hundreds of thousands of years surviving European winters. We inherited the shortcut. There's one more piece, a cave in northern Spain called El Citern. Neanderthal bones from around 49,000 years ago. Cut marks all over them. The same marks you find on butchered animal bones. Researcher Antonio Rosas analyzed them. Neanderthals, cannibalized by other Neanderthals, not by modern humans. We weren't even in that region yet. Other sites in France show the same thing. Moula Guercy, Les Pradelles. Neanderthals under pressure were already fracturing from the inside before we arrived. We didn't walk into a thriving civilization. We walked into a species already dealing with climate shifts, shrinking populations, and resource stress. We were the final pressure, not the only one. So, what did ancient humans actually do when they met Neanderthals? Everything. They competed with them. They occasionally had children with them. They absorbed some of them into their tribes. They out-hunted them season after season. And they slowly replaced the rest without a single decisive battle. You carry that history inside your cells right now. Certain Neanderthal gene variants have been linked to COVID-19 response, to skin barrier function, to how your immune system handles pathogens it's never seen before. The species we replaced left a permanent mark inside our biology. We didn't fully replace them. We partially became them. The ancient humans who met Neanderthals weren't meeting aliens. They were meeting the closest thing to a mirror our species has ever seen. Similar enough to have children with. Different enough that only one lineage survived as its own population. That tension between recognizing something familiar and competing with it anyway didn't start with civilization. It didn't start with agriculture. It started here, with two groups of humans meeting across a valley, both holding spears, both trying to figure out what the other one was. Neanderthals weren't the last time we did this, just the first time we can prove it with Bones and Dina. Subscribe to Thalix. More of this is waiting.